Okay, the Kavanaugh hearings. Wow. I mean, I know that happened before, and I'm sorry that I did not look into, I did not comment or report on that back on Friday. But I was just having fun with my mom. She came to visit me at WSU in Pullman, and she was willing to go through a 6-hour drive from the other side of the state to here in Pullman. So yeah, I'm sorry about that, but family comes first. Now, to continue on, the Brett Kavanaugh hearings. If there was something that I would have to describe it, it would be that meme where, I forgot the actor's name. He was also in the Lego movie. He was played as the weatherman, and he said, "Whew, well, that escalated quickly. I mean, that got really out of hand fast." That basically describes the entire hearing. From the very moment that the hearings began, it was complete chaos. I have never thought that a Supreme Court nominee and confirmation hearing would be this crazy. I never in my life thought of that. So from day one, which was I think it was September 4th. Brett Kavanaugh was obviously supposed to be doing the hearing on the first day, but apparently there were some protesters there, and of course there were Senate Democrats who tried their best to try to derail this entire thing from the very beginning. I mean, just not 5 minutes in, at that moment, there were protesters screaming, and there were Democratic senators actually calling for this hearing to be adjourned. Just immediately, because they claimed that they just saw 16,000, or at the very least 16,000 pages more of this guy's records that they haven't read since 19 hours before the hearing was supposed to start. That doesn't sound like a political move at all. It doesn't. Okay, it actually does. But anyway, they try to make this as a movement to end the hearing altogether, try to delay it as long as possible. In fact, the Democrats have been calling for this confirmation to be delayed until after the November 6, 2018 elections. I mean, it would be understandable to see why. The Democrats, in their own mind, as worked as they are, despite the fact they are at a very big disadvantage, they are willing to stake their bets that they will win the House of Representatives and the Senate in the midterm elections. But again, that's not entirely. I don't think that's going to happen, and that's another story altogether. So they tried to do this, and apparently it was not. There was nothing they could do about it. And again, they brought up those 60,000 pages, which, by the way, it's very weird because Kamala Harris, the one who actually brought this up in the first place, already said weeks before the hearing was supposed to begin that she was going to vote no. And yet, she's calling on for the Congress to allow them to review these pages as if it's going to change their mind. I mean, Cory Booker himself was on this, and another Senate Democrat from I think it was New Jersey. I can't remember his name was, but still, he actually was one of the people who called for the motion to adjourn. So that is what they tried to do. But again, the Republicans in that area, in that committee, did not have any of it. But it was still chaotic nonetheless. at least 70 people were arrested and escorted out of the building because of their continued continued interruptions. That is, even if people have a problem with other past judges or with anyone who was supposed to be appointed or confirmed with a nominee, even people have to admit, those people have to admit that this was the craziest hearing that has ever gone down for the last 4 days. It has been continuing on for the next 3 days, and I think on the 4th day was when Cory Booker's claimed that he was going to release these classified documents from the Department of Justice, talking about how Brett Kavanaugh was race baited, and he was willing to do this at the expense of his sentencing, and he called this his own Spartacus moment, which is completely moronic, because you're not acting brave. You're just trying to get your name recognized for the 2020 elections. In fact, I wouldn't blame. I wouldn't be surprised if Cory Booker was planning to run for president in 2020. I wouldn't. But I still don't think he would win. Because, after all, this entire hearing, his entire political stunt, he just handed a lot of ammunition to Donald Trump. One, he gave himself a nickname. He said it was a Spartacus moment. He should. Apparently now, Donald Trump is going to call Senator Cory Booker Senator Spartacus, or something of that count. Number two, the fact that he said out loud that he was going to release classified documents simply because he has a problem with Brett Kavanaugh would definitely be concerning, and he would definitely make this into a national security issue, and that would definitely paint Cory Booker in a bad light in the 2020 elections. Number three, is I've been hearing I heard a few outlets actually saying that these documents were already released to the public before Cory Booker actually mentioned them. So it would have been pointless. He was just only grandstanding and trying to a virtue signal, trying to be part of the resistance and whatever, trying to make himself look good to become the 46th president of the United States, which again I think is complete bull. I don't think he's gonna win. He might win the nomination, but I don't think he's gonna win the country in general. I mean, he's not a big household name like John F. Kennedy, Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, or any of those kinds of people. I mean, yeah, he is well known in the Democratic Party, but not too much of a nationwide figure. Donald Trump, on the other hand, is very nationwide, even before he was in politics. And that allowed him to ride to victory in the 2016 presidential election. So again, I do not think that this is going to help Cory Booker at all. But I'm digressing. Either way, this was a chaotic hearing from the very beginning. The Democrats, the protesters, they have been trying to derail this thing from the start. I already mentioned before with 60,000 pages that in terms of records from Brett Kavanaugh's career in politics alongside with George W. Bush. I mean, obviously, they had it was. I find them very weird that they actually use that. I mean, I know in the terms of political, trying to make a political statement, that would obviously make sense. But, in terms of a logical perspective, it's kind of weird because they had at least 3 months to look over these documents, and now they ask for more time for 16,000 more. I mean, What else do they want? What else do they want? Brett Kavanaugh's birth certificate, his social security number? What else? But, and even if that were, even if those 60,000 pages of Brett Kavanaugh's records were important to his confirmation to the Supreme Court, I wouldn't think that it should be allowed anyway, because Kamala Harris, like I said before, was not going to vote in favor anyway. If it had been a Republican or a Democrat who did not really have a stance on whether or not he or she was voting for or against this guy, then I would consider it. But considering that Kamala Harris was already made her decision weeks ago, I wouldn't. So all of this, I think, is just a political statement for the presidential elections in 2020. That's all I think it is. And they were trying to make the Republicans look bad. Well, guess what? It completely backfired on them again. All they're doing is making themselves look crazy. And I mean, they're making themselves look crazy. They're making themselves look irrational. And they're honestly making themselves look like children. I mean, look again at the protesters. They were obviously not in favor of Brett Kavanaugh, and they were continually derailing this hearing at any chance possible. At any chance! Sort of reminds me of Jeff Sessions, how he was accused of being a racist, and then BLM and Antifa just tried to get him and tried to say, no Trump, no KKK, no fascist USA bullshit. So yeah, it's exactly like that. It's not going to change anything. All it does is make your side look crazy. That's all it does. In all honesty, Brett Kavanaugh, either way, I think is going to be appointed. It's going to be appointed to the Supreme Court. That's what I think is going to happen. I would be completely surprised if one of the Republicans or maybe two Republicans decided to vote against. I would be completely surprised about that. But I don't think that's going to happen. Because right now, we have less than 3 months less than 3 months before the midterm elections. And they need to continue to campaign on this pretty hard. So if they do not support Brett Kavanaugh, they're basically doing their own race for either the Senate or the House. So that's why I think that either way he's going to be. I think he's going to be not be confirmed to the Supreme Court. And at the same time, this is just going to be cause more problems for the Democrats than anything I've ever seen. It just is, and it's only making their own idea of public approval just lower. In fact, I'm pretty sure that the Democrats still have a lower approval rating than the Republicans to this time. So I wouldn't be surprised if it continued to drop. And honestly, as a result of that, I think that's gonna force them, that will cause them to lose the 2018 midterm elections and the 2020 elections. Unless they get their act together, which let's face it, I honestly don't believe that's going to happen. They're not going to be doing too much winning. I think that all they're going to get is just loss after loss after loss, and all they can do about it is whine and just complain. My name is Noah Mia on the York Truth. Please post your comments down below, subscribe, share this video, and like it. Bye.